Hello and welcome back to the last day of the ViennaUP Morning Show. I'm Daniel, your friendly co-host, together with
Marcus.
Marcus, we have a lot coming up. It's the 8th day of the ViennaUP, our 6th episode in total. And today is all about, well, to a certain degree, saying goodbye, and to a certain degree, also saying hello. Saying goodbye because a lot of the events on their final days, it's a lot of the great opportunity to mix, mingle, and network, and also just to thrive through this beautiful city. Look left, look right, look up, look down, have a bit of cake, have a bit of coffee, and just enjoy the sights and sounds. And as I said, quite a few events are on their final days. What are we looking at today?
So first of all, we have the second day of the Impact Days, where I'm very much looking forward to a panel about financing the energy transition, which I believe is a super important and also especially currently very pressing topic where we need to find solutions. And that's what the Impact Days are all about. So I'm very much looking forward to be there. On the other hand, we have the last day of the FinTech Week 2022, where we will talk about cybersecurity and the future of FinTech, where we know that security is always an important topic. It's one of the reasons why people are sometimes still a bit struggling to join the FinTech revolution. So very much one that needs to be solved, and super interesting to see what will happen there. And it's the last day of the Talent Garden Innovators Week, where there's lots of one-on-one mentoring going on today. What else do we have, Daniel? I think we have one other big event today.
Yeah, and as I was saying, it's also a great opportunity to say hello, because today is also the day of the Tech Jobs Fair. In other words, if you're saying, hey, this is actually a beautiful place, a beautiful city full of opportunity and, yeah, great jobs as well, then have a look, because the whole idea is to find new potential jobs in the field of tech. That's happening today from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. In the Aula der Wissenschaften. So you might want to look that up. And I think it's a great opportunity to just mix and mingle, and who knows, might end up having a great job. And I mean, on top of that, we also have something else coming up right at you, and that's our next guest. And today's special guest is Kriya Mehta. So good to have you here today. How are you?
Very well, thank you. The sun is shining.
Smart. And if the sun's shining, the world is always a better place. Now, please tell our audience who you are and what you do.
So my name is Kriya Mehta. I work for Startup Amsterdam. That's an action program with the city of Amsterdam. It was set up in 2015. And my actual role there is I'm the international relations lead. So I manage our international networks and predominantly the Scale Cities network, which is a European focused network of all the major startup hubs in Europe, including, of course, the beautiful Vienna.
I like that aspect of it, and the beautiful Vienna. But I mean, Amsterdam is quite nice as well, just to kind of mention
quite
that
nice
at this point.
too.
Quite nice? Yes. No, it's a beautiful city. Wasn't elected 10 times the most livable city in the world, but it's absolutely marvelous. What's a Scale City? I have to ask.
So Scale Cities was created in 2016 by the Startup Amsterdam director, and this was an initiative set up to essentially promote collaboration instead of competition with our partners being our neighboring startup hubs. So the idea was to share best practices, share knowledge, so that together we all become stronger as a whole. We are so focused on this idea of sharing that then what came out of it and how it translates in practice is that if, for instance, a Viennese startup wants looking to do business in Amsterdam or Milan or Munich, that we can simply use our connections as governments to facilitate that process so that they might have a softer landing in that city. If you think about the number of things that you need to know as a startup founder, scaling to another city, from cultural, local insights, language, market, legal expertise, tax, and who better than a government network to connect them to then as an umbrella, basically, for that entrepreneur. So that's in a nutshell.
yeah, if I were a startup listening, how can I reach out? And if I say, hey, I'd like to scale to Amsterdam, I'd like to go to Amsterdam, how does that work?
Well, I would say, number one, you should be in contact with your local agency. So in this context, Startup Amsterdam or Vienna Business Agency. And then we do have a website that we've worked very hard on for the last 5 years. That's www.scalecities.com. Nice and easy. And there you have all of the contact details from the different cities. But what we like to say is, rather than doing cold outreach, that you go via your own local agency. And if you are known to them, which if you are in the process of scaling, you ideally should be, then they can make those connections. But our website is actually a hub of information. There's a lot of information that's updated regularly that you can find out about each city. So if you don't find out what you need there, then you can speak to one of us on the ground locally.
And which other cities are scale cities at the moment?
So I'm going to try off the top of my head. We go from alphabetical order: Amsterdam, Antwerp, Barcelona, Berlin, Cologne, Hamburg. I'll go, of course, Vienna, even though you're last. Munich, and oh God, someone's going to kill me for forgetting them. Porto, Lisbon. Can't forget the Portuguese.
So it's more than you can memorize. So it's
And
a lot of cities. So it's, and Helsinki as well. So it's a lot of opportunity for startups. So basically saying, okay, start local, be good local, know your local agency, and then contact them if they're aware of that program, just to scale up throughout Europe. That's a cool story. Maybe as a last question from me, obviously, you're in Vienna. What was like the one local attraction you were looking forward to seeing, maybe also on a private level?
On a private level, because of the types of events that we've got going on in Vienna, I am really looking forward to seeing this Museum Quartier in English, I think. But this is an impressive event space and meeting space, I've heard. So I would, I would very much look forward to seeing that in the next few days.
And rightly you should. And one advice I'd like to give you, if you have about 15 minutes to walk, you might want to walk from Museumsquartier, that's the place you just mentioned, right to Michaelerplatz, because you go through the Imperial Palace and then you end up at one of the old Roman foundations. So if you have 10 minutes to see the Viennese city and rich culture and history, that's something you might want to look up as well. In that sense, thank you very much for Kriya for coming along to our podcast, coming along to Vienna, and helping make Europe an even better place.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
And as said, this was the last episode of the ViennaUP Morning Show. So thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you so much for coming to the incredible ViennaUP 2022. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. We certainly did. And we'd just like to use this part to say thank you very much. Goodbye. Take care. Stay safe. And I hope to see you sometime around soon.
For more information, check out ViennaUP.com.